Welcome back to the Cricket Today show, brought to you by TABTouch, who bring you daily sports markets covering every cricket match so you never miss a beat. I'm your host, Liam McAllion, also known as the Stats Guy. Surprise, surprise, after a live stream, where is Marcus and Leo? They're nowhere to be seen, but we've got an upgrade today. We've got Tom Clarke, or Tom from Pundit, some people call him. How you going, Tom? Thanks for jumping on.
Mate, I'm well. Thanks for having me back. I think the last time I was on was for the T20 World Cup last year.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So, it's good to be back.
I actually think you know a lot more about cricket than those other two knuckleheads anyway, and you've prepared yourself very well. You got notes galore. You're the most prepared person probably ever on this show, so I'm loving that. Yeah.
Mate, it's great to be back. I love talking about cricket.
Beautiful, Actually, you're self-proclaimed cricket nuff anyway. So
I am, unfortunately, or fortunately, depends how you look at it.
No, very nice. Good to have you here. Make sure you feel every play and be right in the action throughout a massive Aussie summer of cricket with TABTouch. It's almost over. The Big Bash is done. Obviously, it's over in Australia, but we've still got some tests and things like that. And then the Women's Ashes, obviously, that we're going to talk about. So very excited for that. Big show as we chat about the BBL final last night. That was absolutely awesome. Probably one of the best matches as a neutral to watch for the whole season. The Aussies dominating the Women's Ashes. We got some big questions ahead of Australia versus Sri Lanka starting tomorrow. You've been arguing all week with your mate. You were telling me about Australia versus Sri Lanka. Got some big points to cover.
Definitely. We got some stuff to go through.
Very nice. And then we got some cricket news going through our best and worst players of the Big Bash season. And as always, some fun fan comments / questions. Even if they're positive, negative, we love them. But in the TikTok, a few English guys are not happy with us bagging the Wisden cricket team, but we'll get into that. Before we start, make sure you get right around the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Usually I get Marcus to tell us what we're on, but I think last night we got up to about 3,070. So our next goal will be 4K and keep going up on the YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to that. And as well as all the socials, Cricket Today, AU, and download TABTouch today. Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. All right, quick single. Leo's not here, so we can make this go as long as we want. He always wants this to go for about 2 minutes, but you've got some good talking points in here anyway. First one I want to talk about, Tom, in the quick single. Tom Curran in the Abu Dhabi League, the T20 League, was caught wandering out of his crease. Very similar to Johnny Bairstow. He wasn't given out, but they ran him out. What are your thoughts on this one, mate?
This was more out than the Johnny Bairstow one.
I agree, mate.
Which was out.
Yes.
That was genuinely out.
It was.
He just wandered out, and then the keeper took the stumps.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on over in England? They're not teaching them how to play cricket. They invented the rules.
Yeah, they exactly
and
right.
they can't stick by it. So it's just bizarre. I mean, it's obviously been a big summer for Tom Curran coming from the Big Bash straight over to Abu Dhabi, but it was just bizarre, mate.
He's always in a bit of controversy, Curran. He ran through the umpire last year. Like this one, I thought they were all sort of arguing on the field and things like that. You got to give it out. Like, you know, in cricket, I remember playing all the senior guys I played. If the junior played and they walk out of the crease, the senior guy would try and warn them behind the stumps. I'm going to run you out, mate. I'm going to run you out. Stay in your crease. It's it's like a junior cricket thing. I don't know.
It's one of the first things that you're taught.
To stay in your crease.
But, I mean, you know, there's something going on over in the UK trying to sneak tricky singles or you know.
Not concentrating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, mate, it was bizarre. And it was given not out, which is the strange thing.
I reckon the umpires, need to grow a pair of balls a little bit and just give it out. Like in the rules, it's out. So I don't know why they didn't give it out. Maybe the Abu Dhabi League has their own sort of rules. I don't know. But,
bizarre, mate.
Yeah, pretty crazy from Tom Curran over in Abu Dhabi. Next one in the quick single, Travis Head. I just read this morning and I was talking to you about it before. He's suggesting in the Sri Lanka test for Australia versus Sri Lanka that in the middle of a match, between innings, they change the batting order. So usually you go into a match, you list out your batting order. I don't know, that's very traditional. And then the second innings, you just have the same one, even if it doesn't work out well. But he's saying maybe change it up in the middle of a test. Is that a bit erratic or what do you think, Tom?
Look, I think it's probably a bit of a beat up. He's probably just trying to get into the heads of the Sri Lankan team, or maybe a bit of a media beat up. I actually don't hate it. If they do end up changing up the order, I don't hate it, you know, depending on how the spinners are performing and, you know, who the bats are. But yeah, look, I wouldn't read into it too much.
Also, I don't think Travis Head is the mastermind behind the Australian cricket. Like, I'm glad Smith's heading over because I don't know about him being a captain. He'd be too laid back, I reckon. There'd be three, we were talking about the other show, there'd be three guys under the lid or like just weird field placements. He'd be, it's all right, we'll get it done. So him saying all this, he said a lot the last week or so about different things for the Aussie team. I don't know if he's the mastermind. Yeah.
Look, honestly, mate, I wouldn't read into it too much.
Yeah, good.
But
it's
we'll
interesting.
Wait and see.
Yeah, it would be fun to watch. And as we've talked about, these test matches don't mean as much as they could have because we're already in the World Test final. So they might change it up. Maybe reverse the order. Nathan Lyon and Scott Boland were putting on 50-run partnerships. So
saying that, how good would it be to see Travis Head and Bo Webster open the batting and just whack it? I mean,
jeez.
Anyway, we'll wait and see.
Oh, that would be nuts. Anyway, that starts tomorrow, actually, which we're very excited on. You were talking about this. You've been keeping a heavy eye on this. The women's Ashes, how good. The Aussies just dominating the Poms. We just dominate them in the men's. We dominate them in the women's. And the women's team, you can say that they're Australia's most consistent sporting team ever, I reckon. Just unbelievable, that the women's Ashes.
It's been fantastic to watch. And they were under the pump early on in the one days.
Yep.
England played pretty good cricket, but they just found a way. And how good's Alana King been with the ball? So great to watch.
Yep.
And she's an absolute star. And then Ash Gardner as well, been fantastic, making a big 100 in the one days. And then, it's great to see the English media turn on their own. I mean, they love giving it to us when the time comes in the men's as well. So it's good to see the English media turn.
Well, even the English media and the Aussie media, everyone was sort of saying this Ashes will be a bit more competitive. I don't know if it was the Aussies sort of trying to say, in case they lose a match or two, but they've just been smashed every single game. They've still haven't won a match, and then they're heading into the Test match at the G, which is going to be very exciting. You're going to head to that on Thursday night? I'm
heading to that. That'd be great to watch. And you know what the best thing about the women's is? It's not the traditional guns that have dominated the series.
Yeah, true.
Annabelle Sutherland's been in great nick. However, she hasn't had a great series. Alyssa Healy's been out as well. So it's been good to watch. And it doesn't matter what any sport. Men's, women's.
As Australia's dominating.
Australia dominating England as well. It's always great to watch.
Absolutely. That's going to be so exciting at the G. We're going to be doing a bit of coverage for that. And very, very excited for that. Finally, in the quick single, Leo's going to be commenting in a second saying that this is going too long, but we'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. The biggest talking point over this week so far has been the Hurricanes. They win their first ever Big Bash title. The Cane Train. Leo was doing choo-choos all night last night, which he was trying to make Gerald behind the camera do a choo-choo. I don't know. Gerald's like, just shut up, Leo. Come on, mate. And then, so we've been calling them the Hurricanes. We had the chains on last night in the live stream, which was good fun. So thank you, everyone, for jumping on the live stream. But they've won their first ever title. Who does that leave as the only team in Big Bash history not to win a title, Tom?
Well, I'm trying to think. Heat, Strikers, Scorchers have all won. Thunder have won. Canes have won now. Sixers won early. Is that just the Stars?
Yes.
That haven't won one?
Yeah, that's the Stars. And they should have won in 2019 when the Renegades beat them.
The Renegades flipped the whole game, didn't they?
The whole game was 7 for 19. Oh, that's just funny now. So I'm glad that the Hurricanes won because now we can bag the Stars even more. They've always had that really good team and they've never won. But the Hurricanes, the crowd was awesome. We'll get into that in a second. But just very happy that they've finally won their first title because Hobart, they love their sport down there. And
they do.
Everything's going well down there,
They always turn out. And it was great to watch last night.
It was. All right, on that's enough for the quick single. Let's get into the BBL final wrap and talking points. Also, we'll get into the big man at the moment, but we'll start off with the Thunder. They got off to a flyer, none for 109. Everyone's thinking, this could be a cruisy win for the Thunder. Sango was 67 off 42. Actually, on Sango, I was going to touch on him. He's had a few injuries. He dropped off a little bit. I think he's 25 now. Leo was suggesting last night that he could still play for Australia. I don't know about that. But he's a very solid cricketer.
He's a very good
when
cricketer.
He gets going,
And he obviously had a big rap as a junior.
Yes.
Making a heap of runs in New South Wales grade cricket. Look, last night he was, hitting good shots last night.
Yeah, he wasn't playing any dumb shots. Fraser Muir should take some notes on that, I reckon,
The biggest thing that I saw was him and Warner were running twos everyone else has been running singles in the tournament. And that's why they got off to a flyer, in my opinion. They were turning ones into twos. And then when him and Warner went out, it kind of fell away from there. But because they set up such a good platform, they still managed a pretty respectable score.
Yeah, I think we also talked about, especially in T20 cricket, running between the wickets. There's so many players that sort of just jog through, or Warner's a lead at it, and then saying, I didn't think he was that quick, but they were absolutely powering through the wickets. But they were none for 109. They were absolutely flying. And then they did their best Stars impression, scrambled for 7 for 74 after that. Look, that's not good at all. You look at their top order, if Constance was playing, that would have helped him a little bit. Billings probably needed to chip in for a few more, but 7 for 74 after that, that's cost them the game. They should have made 200 plus. And then it would have put more pressure on the Hurricanes. Yeah.
It was really disappointing after getting off to such a great start. But Nathan Ellis was fantastic.
Oh, he was so good.
Three wickets. Didn't go for a boundary, which is sensational as the skipper. And you know what? I think the Hurricanes just turned it on once the first couple of wickets fell. Yeah,
so I think Meredith and Alice combined for 6 for 50, which is bloody awesome. The two sort of funny, two of the funniest fast bowling actions. Nathan Ellis, when he puts his arms up like this, and I don't know how he runs in like that, and he sort of uses both of his arms to bowl. I don't understand how he does that. And then Riley Meredith, I think he got one of his Yorkers to, I think it was Billings that he got a wicket, 148 Ks. You just love to see that. The other thing that we were talking about in the live last night was can either of them come back into the Australian team? I think Nathan Ellis can. He seems like a really good leader.
Ellis definitely can. He's a very, very good player, Nathan Ellis. He has been for a long time now in the Big Bash. Kind of launched onto the scene. Has he played internationals? I think he's played a couple of games.
No, he's played a fair few T20s and then I think a couple of one-days. Yeah.
I see him as an Australian cricketer with the white ball.
I love watching him.
He's got one of the better Yorkers in the Big Bash and he's done it for a long time. Yep. So now he's a BBL, winning captain.
Yep.
Championship captain. I think, he's probably ready to take the next step and cement himself in Australian bowling line.
And then I think Stoinis always says that rig-based selection. I think he fits in that. I saw him holding the trophy. I was like, geez, he's got bigger guns than I thought. Nathan Ellis, he's a good-looking rooster. There we go. He's actually played 8 ODIs and 20 T20 internationals. So he's got a pretty solid career. What is he average? 16 with the ball in T20 internationals. So I think he got injured in one of the World Cups, then he got dropped for another one. I think he will be, in the team for a little while in the short format, which is good fun. But who cares about all of that? I don't even know why we spent that long talking about all the rest of the players. We're going to talk about Mitch Moose Owen. NBA Australia Jim was in the comments last night calling him Moose. So everyone last night in the comments was calling him Moose. So now his nickname is Moose just because he's so big and strong. He went absolutely ballistic, Tom. That was probably the best innings I've watched in T20 in a very long time. I was almost going to say ever because it was just in a final. Awesome.
It was sensational. Yeah. I can't remember a better Big Bash knock. Probably going back to Craig Simmons when he made that massive 100 at the Wacker. Yep. But, that was some of the best hitting I've seen from Maxwell's double 100.
Yeah.
In the World Cup a few years ago, he just came out with a plan just to hit the ball to the fence. And
like a I was going to say baseball or golf. It looked like,
Cricket, but cricket's a, pretty funny game. He just came out with a really simple plan to whack it and he hit 11 sixes.
11 sixes.
He faced 40 odd balls.
Yep.
And he hit 11 sixes.
It was unbelievable, yeah.
I mean, he's been sensational the whole tournament and, kudos to him. He brought it out on the big stage.
Yeah, in the final. So he's got 108 off 42 balls. The third fastest Big Bash 50, so they were showing the stats there. That was reminiscent back to Chris Gale has the fastest ever 50 in Big Bash with 12 balls. That was prime Big Bash. I think Dre Russ was killing it. Chris Gale was killing it. He had the awesome under Marvel Stadium. I can't believe you can even do that off 12 balls. He was just standing and delivering. But then he has the equal fastest BBL century, Mitch Owen, off 39 balls with the man you just mentioned, the truck, Craig Simmons. I swear he just popped up for Big Bash and then just left. I think he worked in the mines or something like that. They were showing last night. And then he just came in for the Big Bash. I think he made 2 of the fastest hundreds ever and then just dipped.
He only just finished playing grade cricket in Western Australia last year.
Really?
Took a big 7 for and made 100 in one of his last games.
So, did you say 7 for?
I think so.
Really?
It rings a bell.
What does he bowl? I don't. Does he bowl spin?
Left arm spin. He bowled a little bit in the Big Bash.
Yeah, actually, he did. That's right. Yeah.
But he was absolutely sensational and the crowd were getting into it as well.
Oh, the crowd were chanting. What were they chanting? Mitchell Owen. That was awesome. That was so good. We were doing some chants on the live, but they weren't going as well as the crowd. That was the loudest Big Bash crowd I reckon I've had in years. I think there used to be sellouts at the G and things like that. But even if it was only 19, 20,000, they were the loudest crowd I reckon we've heard of the Big Bash in a long time. And Tassie, they deserve it. They're in a good spot at the moment. Tassie, last year they won the Jack Jumpers in the basketball. We'll talk about that. Then obviously they've won this. They've got an AFL team on the way. They're just loving life at the moment. The Tasmanians. But Mitch Owen, deserved chance. He's actually from Hobart. He used to go to every Hobart Hurricanes game. He had the big afro, this purple afro that he used to wear, and there was a little photo of him as a little chubby kid. Some of his mates on the hill. So the fact that he's doing that in his hometown, it's just bloody awesome.
Yes, he was. No other way to describe it. He was sensational.
Yeah, I think even Gerald, our producer, got out of his chair for a few of the sixes. That's how well Mitch Owen was batting. So that was absolutely awesome. This is the one I want to bring up. Leo put this on one of the social posts. Check that out on Cricket Today AU. Should he be in the Aussie side in the near future?
Yes.
Yep. Is that just easy as that?
Clear as
Moose Owen. Yeah.
Yep.
Could we somehow injure someone like that English suspicious injury a couple of years ago, last year when he the golf injury? Can we injure someone just to get him in the Champions Trophy team? I wouldn't mind seeing him in that, even just in the squad. Yeah,
he'll get in. Yeah, because I mean, look at the next couple of years. There's going to be guys drop off like Smith, Usman, stuff like that. I know they don't play a heap of white ball cricket,
but they usually are in the World Cup squads or trophy squads. Yeah.
And look, Smith, Labuschagne, Usman. There's a few others that are coming towards the end. Carey's getting a bit older now.
Yep.
He'll definitely come in. He's only 23, so he's got at least 10 years of good cricket.
I keep forgetting how young, because he sort of shot up so quickly. Obviously, he was good at state level, and then now he's been killing it at Big Bash. But he hasn't ever dominated in the Big Bash like he has this year. He's just, So Aussie team, he could be a sneaky good opener. everyone was saying Matt Short's that next sort of white ball, but he hasn't really performed for Australia. If he drops off, or Hardy might drop off, you bring Mitch Owen in, I think it'll be pretty good.
Well, Jake Fraser-McGurk's probably the one that lost his spot.
I really want, as we'll touch on in a sec, I really want Jake Fraser-McGurk to do well, but I don't know if that's going to happen just yet. Yeah,
he'll play for Australia though. I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, he will. He will, because they do believe in him, and as he showed that last match in the big, he has the capabilities. Yeah. Just needs to be a bit smarter. Hit along the ground, like as we mentioned before, Jason Sanger. Most of his shots are along the ground. Just playing smart cricket. Yeah, simple as that. In the end, the Hurricanes, they cruised to a 7-wicket win at Ninja Stadium. The crowd was going absolutely off. They were doing laps, I think, for like over an hour after the game with the trophy. I think every single person in Hobart has a photo with the trophy. They were all loving it down there. So good on them. Happy they've got their first ever title. The Cane Train has got it done. Anyway, that's our BBL final wrap talking points. Let's get into our BBL Cricket Today awards. This was a bit of an impromptu late call here, but 2 awards that I want to touch on is the Player of the Season for the Big Bash and then the Flop of the Season. Tom, Player of the Season for you or anyone, honourable mentions and things like that?
For me, I had Mitch Owens just in front before last night.
Okay.
And then after last night, he's just rocketed for me as the MVP. You know, he got a new opportunity up the top.
Yep.
He made a great 100 against the Scorchers.
Yep.
Which, similar to last night, he just came out with a plan and just started whacking it.
Yep.
He was absolutely amazing. The thing, until last night, he only had 1 score over 50. However, he'd had a lot in the late 30s and 40s.
Which is like I agree that's like a 50 in T20 cricket.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you're getting 30s, yeah.
And the way he was hitting the ball, like he just came out and absolutely whacked it. So when he went out, you know, the Scorchers were on 60 runs and then the others could kind of consolidate and get themselves in. They didn't have to go from ball 1.
Yep.
And for me, he chipped in with a couple of wickets when he was needed.
He did, yeah.
And the icing on the cake was his fielding. Like he is an excellent fielder. And that's why, you know, he's my MVP just because, you know, he's not an outstanding bowler. He's not going to come in and get 5 or 6 for.
Yep.
But he's going to be serviceable. He's great in the field, and obviously he whacks it at the top.
Yep. No, great call. I think, Mitch Owen, Moose, we're calling him still, especially after last night. I know some awards, they go back to like just the regular season, but we got to count the finals. When you're clutching the finals and things like that, I want to give a shout out to Cooper Connolly. I know the Scorchers were really bad, but I think he was the most consistent player. They'd lose early wickets. He'd come in straight away, make a 40-odd. I think what did he have? He averaged 50 this season, 350 runs. He had 6 wickets when he had to chip in with the ball. I thought he was awesome as well. So if the Scorchers sort of had a bit of a run in the finals, I reckon he could have got that Player of the Season. And then I'm trying to think who else is up there. David Warner, pretty solid as well. Yep. He was really consistent. I think he made 30 or 40 almost every single game other than that duck he made in the finals. But yeah, anyone else from you?
A bit of a smoky was Ben Dwarshuis.
Oh yes, actually we were talking about him. He's been the best all-rounder in the comp,
Yeah, like he you know, he's been a very good bowler for a long time. Yeah. A good domestic bowler, good BBL bowler. But he chipped in with the bat. I think he hit about 8 or 9 sixes for the tournament. Now, someone coming in at 7 and 8 was fantastic. And you know, he's been around for a while. He took 12 wickets.
Great mustache.
That
always helps.
It does. And finally as well, I think Tom Rogers, Renegades.
Yes. Oh, here we go.
Tom
Leo
Rogers
thinks he is the luckiest cricketer to get that many wickets. But I think he actually had a solid season. He got a lot of wickets. He was the only Renegades player to obviously make the team in the tournament, the official one.
He did. And he had that knock against the Scorchers where him and Sutherland dragged them back from the brink. No one thought they were going to win that game, including me watching it live. So, got to give a shout out to him. But yeah, I thought it was probably the year of the underdog this year.
It was.
MVPs, you know. Who would have thought that Connolly, Owens and Dwarshuis and Rogers would have been up there for MVP.
Well, Behrendorff ended up getting the most wickets, but I don't think I can give it to him. It was sort of a bit up and down with the Scorchers and stuff like that. I don't mind Josh. I'm having a look at his stats. 14 wickets, averaged 36.5 with the bat this season. Just bloody awesome. So great call. I did forget about him because I loved him in Supercoach. He would just come in with the bat, hit some bombs. How many sixes did he end up with?
I reckon 8 or 9 or so.
10. There you go. That's awesome for your number. What was he batting? 8 or so? Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. So good call there. I'll definitely agree with you though. Mitch Owen, Moose Owen has to be Player of the Season for Cricket Today. The other side of it, Flop of the Season. We'll start off with the team. Now, usually this is sort of kept in the space for the Stars, but they actually ended up all right. They made the finals. They went on a 5-game win streak, so that was absolutely awesome. Who are we thinking Flop of the Season, Tom? We talked about a little bit of this before the show. What do you reckon?
I think the Scorchers. I think just because they started off scorching. They were flying the first couple of games. You know, Morris and Behrendorff up and about. I thought they were great. And then it was like they flicked a switch and just capitulated. I think the Renegades game where Sutherland and Rogers came back, that would have been debilitating for them. And then they lost a few to Sri Lanka, like Connolly and stuff like that. Mitch Marsh didn't perform at all.
Their batting, I think it wasn't even to do with their bowling. Lance Morris, as we talked about before, was awesome. Behrendorff was pretty solid. And then you've got a few of their spin. Even Connolly got some wickets. Their batting outside of Connolly, like which we'll touch on some players like Hardy, who they always rely on with the bat and the ball, did nothing. McAllion did nothing. Mitch Marsh, when he came in, just has forgotten how to bat. Actually, what's going on with Mitch Marsh, Tom?
I mean,
I don't know. It's like he's forgotten how to play cricket.
I mean, he had a pretty good run for 18 months. Yeah. But you can't stay in form forever. And
That's true.
I think he's dropped out, but I'm backing him to make some runs.
Yeah, you reckon he'll come back in the Aussie team? I don't know.
I don't know if he'll come back in the Aussie team.
But just in
he'll definitely do well in state level and, potentially force his way back in.
Yeah. And then on the Scorchers as the flop of the season, they actually have made the finals every year since 2019, and then they've only missed the finals, I think, twice in 14 seasons. They've just been the benchmark of the Big Bash. They're only just missed out by one game, but they lost their last 4. So I agree that with the team they have on paper, it's a toss of the coin between the Scorchers and the Renegades. I thought the Renegades should have done a lot better with the team they had. You got Bethel, amazing young player. Fraser McGurk, amazing young player. You've got Will Sutherland, I think, one of the best all-rounders in the country. So Seifert, in the Kiwi as well. So I do agree with the Scorchers though. Their team is just built for Big Bash cricket, and they didn't even make the final. So flop of the season there. In terms of flop of the season for the players, now the start of the summer, we were like, this is the year of Jake Fraser McGurk. The Rooster, we've got the Rooster Marcus sitting over there that Marcus usually wears. We were like, this is the time for Jake Fraser McGurk. Sadly, I think he's on the at least on the podium for the flop of the season, Tom.
Yeah, he was extremely underwhelming for someone with so much talent as he does.
Yeah.
If he had a pretty good series similar to what Mitch Owens has done, I reckon he would be on the plane to Sri Lanka. I reckon they would have picked him.
Reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
that's a big call.
Well, Warner 15 years ago, 20 years ago, whenever he came in, similar, he just came out with a bang.
Dominated
and they
Big Bash.
Just picked him. Obviously, circumstances are different. We weren't great in the test side then, but I think he's good enough to play at test level. He obviously hits the ball hard, has a great eye.
Do you reckon Fraser McGurk is good enough to play test level?
I reckon he is, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he is.
I think they would have picked him to go to Sri Lanka if he had a really big series.
He is a solid player against spin. It's just obviously out of form and things like that. Yeah,
but he has experience in the subcontinent in the IPL.
Yeah, true.
Had a great IPL last year. I think some teams around the world would have been a bit concerned.
Oh yeah, they're paying
his Big Bash.
Yeah, $2 million or something like that for his
the
IPL.
The only thing going for him was that 90 he made in the last game. He absolutely whacked it. And that's what we're kind of expecting every game. But he had some pretty soft outs. That's why, for me, he was so underwhelming.
Yeah, we talk about this all season where just hit it on the ground, mate. Like, he just hits, he tries to hit every ball in the air. And then on the leg side, they'll put 3 guys on the boundary and you hit it straight to him. He did that about 3 or 4 times this season. As you touched on, he did make that 90, what was his top score?
96, I think.
96. Oh, it actually hasn't updated on their website. He had 93 runs in the entire season before that.
Yeah.
So just not good enough. Average 10 before that last game as well. They actually have, Renegades haven't put his stats in, I reckon, because they don't want they don't want to update it because he hasn't had a good season. But you're right. I think he is the flop of the season. You've got Aaron Hardy. He did miss the first half of the season with injury, so I might let him off. Tom Rogers Tom Rogers is probably very lucky that he's not been the flop.
Stars Tom Rogers. There's too many Tom Rogers in the BBL.
There's 2 ones that play in Melbourne. They're both called Tom Rogers, which is just so confusing. Tom Rogers from the Stars, I think he had 36 total runs for the season and he kept opening. What? Surely he can get dropped in the Big Bash. Like, do they not have enough depth or things like that? I'm not sure, but you said before that he played did really well at the lower levels.
Yeah, he's made a heap of runs in grade cricket.
And things like that, yeah.
But, I mean...
It doesn't translate, obviously.
It's a different game.
It's
obviously
a very
BBL, and they tried to move him in the middle order a bit and, it didn't work. But I'm backing him in to come back and make some runs for next year.
I reckon he might get dropped. Oh, actually, depends what his contract is. But I don't know if I can give him another... Because we called Sam Harper and Tom Rogers at the top of the order for the Stars, the decoys. So they'd give the other opposition hope, and then they'd bring in Maxi and Stones and go, oh crap, the Stars are actually good. But we'll see how we go. And then the last one for the flop of the season, he's on the podium, I reckon, as well. Finn Allen, what the hell is going on there? He got out second ball, I think, 3 times in this season, where he'd hit a boundary and then get out second ball. A lot of hype for him at the start of the season. But he just, I don't know, he needs to slow it down a little bit.
I think what you touched on, he had so much hype. We heard about this guy, he's got the tats, cool looking guy. Thought he was going to come in and dominate, and he didn't. And, probably with the team around him as well, they struggled a bit. I think he got a couple of 50s as well, but
at the end of the season, I think he got lifted.
I think he got 250s.
He did, yeah.
He actually didn't reach 20 outside of those 250s.
Yeah, and that's not good enough.
He's obviously on the big bucks to go over there.
Yeah.
He's a bit disappointing, but again, these guys get picked for a reason because they're good players. So, if he does come back, I'm backing him in to make some runs.
It's a weird one in T20 cricket where you can be paid a lot of money for a couple of weeks of cricket. Just say you're coming over from another country. You might only be here for 2 weeks in Australia or India or whatever, and you're getting paid a lot of money. You could make a duck every game and then you go, see ya, and take all the money and just go. It's a bit different to the other sort of brands of cricket, isn't it? So I don't know about that. But anyway, they'll be kicking themselves, the Scorchers, because they probably were banking on him to make a few runs, and a lot of the other players should have made runs too, so it wasn't just his fault.
Overall, though, what a great BBL14. I mean, it's been fantastic. The crowds have come back.
Yep.
Guys like Owen and Connolly getting an opportunity.
Absolutely.
A bit of the new brigade have come through this year. I've really noticed. And
I think it's a resurgence of the entire competition. Like, a lot of people are very quick to bag the Big Bash or say it's not really working. But I think I went to a Melbourne derby last year where it was about 12,000 people there. Both the derbies this year had 40,000 plus, which is awesome. Yeah, I think it's been pretty good.
It was great. And obviously, all sports struggled in the COVID era, and now we've come out of it, and I think there's some real stars back playing, which we probably missed that in the last couple of years. Yeah. So, it's been fantastic.
Good call, mate. All right, we're about halfway through here. Before we get into all things Aussie Test cricket, which I know you're very keen to talk about, Tom, make sure to check out TABTouch for their sports markets, which cover every cricket match this season. Got the touch? Download TABTouch today. Think, is this a bet you really want to place? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au. All right, the Big Bash is officially done. The cane trains get the job done. Let's get into some Test cricket. I can't believe there's more Test cricket.
It's amazing.
I love it. That's just, we've gone straight from a month of, or a couple of months in Australia. It's been absolutely awesome. Now we head to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka versus Australia. Big questions here. I know that's all you like to do around the office with your mates, that cricket on the weekend, Tom. You just like to ponder things about Cricket Australia or anything to do with that. So, first one up, we're going to do big questions. We'll talk them through. Who should open the batting? This is the big question. You've got Constas and Uzi obviously opened the batting, the last opening pair over the summer. You've got Travis Head saying he could possibly open. You've got Steve Smith in the past was going to open, but I don't think that's going to happen anymore. Who do we think should open the batting? Or any other thoughts on that?
For me, I think Travis Head needs to open.
Ooh,
and I say needs because, the Sri Lankans, they're a bit of an unknown. A lot of their guys haven't played a heap of Test cricket.
Yep.
Travis Head is just so confident in the subcontinent. He's made a lot of runs there with the white ball.
Yep.
I think he opens with Usman, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so torn on that because I do think he could do a good job, but he's been so good in that sort of middle order, top to middle order, that I don't know if I want to change that. He's been probably our best bat in there by an absolute mile. Like, no one else I'm really confident in making runs. Is he going to do the same thing as opener? I'm trying to have a look at his...
The only thing that's a real concern, I think, for me is having two left-handers and not having a left and right-hand opening pair.
Yeah, true.
Purely as just to put off the batsman. Put off the bowler, sorry.
Yeah.
Spin... if there's a left arm spinner taking it away, Usman can face him because the spin's coming in, or, let's say Constas was to open and there's a right arm spinner.
Yep.
He can come in and face, the ball spinning back in. But I think, for me, it's Travis Head.
Yep. No, I don't mind that. I still sort of want to put Constas in just because I feel like he's a decent player of spin. I don't know. I feel like he could play really attacking just from ball one, similar to Travis Head. I feel like people are saying if Travis Head's in the top order, he can put pressure back on. I feel like Constas can do that. But, and again, it's not like we need to win these tests. I think we will, but either way, whatever the opening batting partnership is. But I feel like I just want to see, I think it's just because I want to see more Constas.
Yeah.
Like I'm happy with Travis Head he's making runs. Do you think there's a chance Constas will stay in, or is he more in a squad role now?
I've actually got Constas in my team.
Really?
Still.
Okay, actually, do you want to read out your team?
So this is my 11.
I'm interested in your batting order. You love writing this stuff down. Yeah.
So this is my 11. Yeah. So Usman, Trav, Marnus at 3, Smith at 4, Constas at 5.
5. What's your reasoning there?
I think just putting him, behind Marnus and Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're obviously they've been around for years. Usman as well has a lot of history in the subcontinent.
Yeah, he's really good over there.
Played well against Pakistan and has scored some runs against India.
Yep.
I think either Constas or Connolly to bat at 5.
Oh, actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Connolly just because change it up.
I'll keep going through my team.
All right, sounds good.
And then we've got Webster at 6. He picks himself. Carey, Stark, Murphy, Lyon, Boland. So 2 frontline spinners, Webster and potentially Connolly, or Constas. I think it's dependent on how dry the wicket is going to be and if it's going to absolutely rag.
It's going to turn, yeah, okay.
Because, Webster, Murphy and Lyon, they all spin it the same way.
Yeah. You need Connolly to change it up, yeah.
Kuhneman's been training, but he dislocated his thumb, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, he had surgery. Apparently, he's on track to be available for selection, but I feel like that is a little bit of a risk, yeah. He's just had surgery, yeah.
It is a risk, and I think that opens the door for Connolly. If Constas is stiff to miss out, I think, bad luck.
Yeah. I agree with
It's test cricket, right?
I agree with that, yeah.
And
you got to adjust to the different countries and things like that, yeah.
Exactly.
But
right.
I do want to see a few more ramp shots. That'd be pretty. Actually, there might not be as many ramp shots if they're bowling spin every over, but yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, he's a bit of an unknown, Constas, and test cricket, it's a completely different game, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a completely different game batting in Australia versus the subcontinent. I know Connolly also doesn't have any experience in the subcontinent, but he gives you more in the field and with the ball.
And the ball, yeah.
Yeah. So
you've actually broken that down pretty well there. This is the most knowledgeable stuff I've ever had on the right side of me on this show. This is very good.
Yeah, bad luck, Leon, Marcus. You're out.
I reckon they're out. What do you reckon? Gerald's laughing over there. I reckon that's easy done. And then the next one I wanted to ask, you've already sort of touched on who you wanted in your team, but how many quick bowlers do we need? So I think, was it Justin Langer or someone was talking on, no, Brad Hodge was talking about it. There's going to be, just say there's 130 overs they need to fill to bowl. 100 of those at least are going to be spin. You could get 20 overs out of Scobo probably, and then you might need 10 or 20 overs out of your likes of Webster or someone else that's sort of that part-time spinner. Maybe Connolly can chip in as well. So how many quicks do we need, do you reckon? Just the one?
I think 2.
2? Okay.
I think Stark and Boland for me.
Yeah.
Reason being is Stark is a genuine wicket taker. He bowls quick. He can come around the wicket. If the ball's reversing, he can get the ball to reverse as well. And then Boland, he's just a workhorse bowling machine.
I love watching him.
So, yeah, he can probably bowl up front. And then you've got Webster that can bowl seam up and then come and bowl spin later.
Actually, Webster could bowl. That's going to be so fun to watch. I just realised that. He could bowl pace and spin, which he's done for state level, obviously, in the Aussie team. We haven't had that in a very, very long time.
Funky Miller was
Funky Miller, yeah. Actually, yeah. And he had the earring as well, Funky Miller. Maybe Webster dyes his hair blue, possibly. What colour would he go? I don't know. Maybe a green.
Yeah, green for Tassie.
Yeah, a green for Tassie, yeah. Or for Hobart, he might be moving over there. Actually, there's a BBL.
Go purple for the Canes.
For the Canes, they just won, maybe. That would be wild. So, yeah, you're saying 2. I don't mind that. There was like a lot of chat going around about Stark. Obviously, Cummins isn't playing, but Stark is coming back from an injury, apparently. There's all the quicks except for Boland are coming back from an injury. Yeah. But I do think they might go with, Stark and Boland.
I think, the last time we played in India, Kuhneman, Murphy and Lyon played in the same team.
Yes.
And they opened with Cameron Green, who got smashed.
Yeah.
I think Webster's a bit of a different bowler to Green. He kind of gets the ball through. Green's more of a hit the surface kind of guy, whereas Webster's, more kiss the wicket and try to get, a bit of seam and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I think you could almost open. If they do want to play 3 spinners with Kuhneman, you could pick Boland and Webster.
Yeah, and then Webster,
And then Webster can come on later and bowl, and then Connolly probably misses out for Constas.
Yeah, and then that Webster opening spell doesn't have to be a long spell anyway, because the balls might get wrecked anyway. We'll have to look at it. I'm actually excited to see the pitch tomorrow. I think it's 3:30 our time in Melbourne. Just to see if the actual rank turners or things like that. So that'd be interesting. Yeah. Talking about the turn, which spinners are most dangerous on these pitches? I would love to see Kuhneman play because I think he dominated over in the subcontinent last time. But again, he's coming back from injury. So are we leaning towards Lyon, Murphy, I think Connolly, or
Murphy and Lyon kind of bowl similar. They bowl overspin.
Yes,
right.
Not the spin. They like the bounce.
Not side spin like Kuhneman and Connolly. He's not a massive spinner of the ball, but. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not really sure as of yet. Yeah. Last time Travis Head took 5 for. So
that's right. Is he going to do his celebration?
Yeah. So you never know. Head could come in and bowl a couple of overs as well. That's
I forgot about that.
Spoken about. So we'll wait and see. Marnus potentially some leggies.
Down the camera, this is for Leo. I don't know if we want to see Marnus bowling. He'll just get too chirpy, and if he gets a wicket, he's going to want to bowl every single.
He could
over.
Be a strike bowler, seam up.
Oh no, he thinks he can bowl 140. I don't think he's bowling more than 125. I reckon.
I think Lyon and Murphy. I think we'll just have to wait and see. Murphy bowled really well in India last time we toured there, so
he was great. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wait and see, but. I'm not sure yet. I'll probably answer that question after a couple of days.
What are you leaning towards before tomorrow? Like if you're a selector, if you put your George Bailey hat on, which 2 spinners would you pick?
Murphy and Lyon.
Murphy in line. Yeah,
I think
bit more experienced. Yeah,
I think
Connolly, obviously.
They're just your best spinners. They're best two spinners. So you pick those two.
Yep, and especially Murphy proved that he's just so consistent. He can hit the spot every time, similar to Nathan Lyon, and he'd be learning so much from Gaz. That's awesome.
And finally, I mean, pick him in the first test, and then you're playing at the same place.
Yes, yeah, I should have talked about that. Yeah.
I mean, if it doesn't work, just change it up for the second.
Well, they use they're not going to use the same pitch, but they might use the one directly next to it, which could be the exact same.
Which the guys could just scuff up the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing that one, but yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see. But I think Lyon and Murphy for me.
Yep, and then finally, I didn't put this in, but series prediction. What do you think? So it's 2 tests. We've got a quick series. What do you reckon? I'm going Australia 2-0.
2-0, yeah.
Even though Sri Lanka will put up a fight, they're actually pretty solid. I saw they had a couple of good test matches against New Zealand. I think it was against England as well. Yeah. Do you reckon they'll put up a fight? I reckon they will.
I think they will, but I think Australia are just going to be too good. Mm-hmm. It is kind of a dead rubber series.
Yeah, in terms of the Test Championship.
But it's still Test cricket. It's still the echelon of cricket.
Yeah.
And, that's why I think Australia are going to pick their best team, because it's Test cricket. You don't gift games in Test cricket.
Bang on.
And, losing to Sri Lanka 1-1, or maybe if Sri Lanka, can get up and beat us 2-0, it's still Test cricket. It's still the top echelon, and these guys are proud guys. And I'm really backing them in to go 2-0 and have a really good hit out before the World Test Championship.
Yeah, no, I really like that. It's really good in Australia, actually. We talked about this the other time. It's the first time since 1997 that an away trip other than England is going to be on Channel 7 and free to air. So a lot of people in Australia after that awesome series against India is going to be watching. And
it starts at a great time.
Starts at a great 3:30. What time? Actually, they'll finish what time? Like
about 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Beautiful.
It's like the old Wacker test back in the day.
Yeah, how good is that? It's like a day-night test for us.
It'd be great.
So that's awesome. So we'll be tuning into that. Make sure you check out the socials. There'll be lots going up for that. All right, that's enough for the Sri Lanka versus Australia. There's actually some funny questions here. The questions/fan comments that we always like to get into. You wouldn't have experienced this, but there is some funny ones on here. We'll start off with TikTok. I'm sure you would be all over the Wisden Cricket Test Team of the Year, Tom. Just before we start on that, what were your thoughts on that? Don't want to talk about it?
I mean, stats are stats, right?
Yeah.
But England plays so many more Test matches than everyone else.
Also, why even is that? It's very weird how that all works, but yeah.
Australia and South Africa are in the World Test Championship final.
And no one's in the Test Team of the Year.
And not one was picked.
Yep.
And I know, Leo, this is for you. I know you got annoyed at me the other day, but turn it up, mate.
Yeah, turn it up.
Got to pick an Australian.
Well, we haven't had to turn it up on this show. I like that.
It's just...
At least if you're picking someone, it has to be, I'd say, Travis Head. And then Pat Cummins is a sneaky one as well.
Yeah.
Come on, get an Aussie in there. Even one South African player surely deserves to be there. They made the final. Anyway, on that Wisden Cricket Test team, they actually commented on a few of our things on TikTok, Wisden. They've got a big following, so thanks for that. And hopefully we might have to do a little bit of a collab on that. That'd be pretty cool with Wisden. At Lee Johnston says on TikTok, who does Head replace in this team? The blokes that average 55 with combined 10 tons, or the bloke who averaged 74 with half of his innings being 50 plus? I'm trying to figure out exactly who he's talking about there.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But Leo did go through the stats, and all the English players did average around that 55 plus. So I don't know. I just want to fit him in there somewhere. I don't know. I'm not talking this up too much though. Lee on TikTok does make some good points in terms of the stats, but they have a lot more tests to work with. I think. Yeah. I don't know. We need to probably do the math and the how Aussies have played less tests. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, the Wisden Test team came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to pick. Yeah, you got to pick someone.
Got to pick. Yeah, I agree.
You got to pick. I don't know. Yeah. But it's like the All Australian in the AFL, right?
Yeah.
You got to get someone to go out. So I understand Lee's point of view.
Yeah. He's actually made a good point there. Yeah.
He's not Australian.
But he's definitely not Aussie. And talking about another person that's not Aussie, BFD123, he just says, did convicts not understand how this team of the year works? So he's called us convicts there. That's we call him Poms. I'm guessing he's an Englishman because
Whinging Poms.
Yeah, Whinging Poms. He can call us convicts. We'll cop that. That's a bit of a funny one there. On YouTube, we love this man. He comments on, I think, almost every single show at Certified Plum Boy. You had a giggle at his name there. He said, always knew the RCB of the Big Bash would stuff it up. He's referencing that the Stars are never winning a title, similar to RCB in the IPL, even with extremely strong teams. Obviously, Kohli's been there. Kohli and Maxwell have been there a lot for RCB. And we actually have a lot of RCB people in the comments. We've got RCC Jimbo. We've got, because Leo always supports RCB. So that's a good little comparison there. Will the Stars ever... They're apparently going to recruit all these players next season. That's what I've heard over the last couple of days because the BBL trade period starts today. But are they just ever going to win? They just always get all these good players and just never win anything.
RCB and the Stars are similar. They're the pretty boys.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the pretty boys. Yeah. They don't like to get down and dirty. Exactly. I'm a Gades man.
Yep.
Where the Gades is the working class.
It is at Marvel Stadium.
Exactly right. We get pushed out to Marvel. Whereas, the
Western Bulldogs.
Whereas the RCB and the Stars, they want to look good. They all have the shiny bats, but they just don't win. So
very good call, Tom. Yeah. Certified Plum Boys all over it. And then last couple on Instagram at Benjamin Ryan on our team of the tournament. This is our Big Bash team of the tournament. Also, actually, social girl Olivia was all over this as well. She said the exact same thing. Justice for my boy, Osama Mir. Now, I think he's not good at all, Osama Mir, but he actually started the last 4 games he did really well. I thought at the start of the season he was going to be crap. Last season he was really bad, but he actually got a lot of wickets in the second half of the year, so I will eat my words and say he was actually pretty good. I don't know about team of the tournament, though.
I don't know about team of the tournament.
But he was actually pretty good.
But I'm going to have to disagree with you. I reckon I've changed my
mind on him over the last sort of month or so because I didn't think he was that good, but he's got a lot of wickets.
He similar bowler to Fawad Ahmed, kind of similar action, similar kind of bowler, and I rate him, but not team.
I faced Fawad Ahmed. That's the most spin I've ever seen in my life. He came down. I've got no idea why. One time to one of our training sessions. And I reckon he was pitching it on purpose off the pitch and then spinning it off the pitch the other side. And there was a keeper there was a keeper in the nets and they couldn't keep to him because he was just spinning it that much. And then his wrong would spin more than his leggy. Like I was like, this guy's unbelievable. Obviously that didn't amount to too much in Australian cricket, but it was a really good talent.
He was a very
They
good
just
player.
didn't really figure that out, and then he couldn't find any consistency. But Osama Mir, maybe a little bit stiff in the team of the tournament, but he's really improved. I do like him now, so I'll give him his credit. Last one on Facebook. David Bentley says, Mitch Owen is as good as it gets. Great to see the Canes get a well-deserved win. Great atmosphere and crowd at Ninja Stadium. What a night. Just an awesome night for Hobart in general.
We've spoken about it extensively, but Mitch Owens, he's probably my second favourite Mitch Owens behind Machito Owens in the AFL. But he was sensational, and there's going to be calls for him for all the franchises now for the rest of his life. So he's going to fill up.
That the IPL auction's already done. He probably would have got one.
I reckon he'll get signed.
They have like top up players and things like that.
Yeah, if someone gets injured, I think. But you'll see him playing in Chittagong and
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, he'll get picked up, and he's a star, and good on Hobart. It's good to see them win.
Yeah, and then on that's the way forward for cricket. You growing up as a cricketer, obviously you want to play for Australia, but if you want to make the big bucks, you just travel around the world playing T20 cricket.
As Billings said last night on the commentary, he said to Mitch Owens, put first class cricket away, just play white ball cricket.
Exactly, although you would agree that as you want to play Test cricket, but you can make so much money now playing as the West Indians showed. They just travel around the world, so absolutely awesome. And cheers for all the comments, guys, in the comments. So keep them coming. Subscribe to Cricket Today. I'm calling it. That's Stumps for the Cricket Today show. Thanks to TABTouch. We'll continue to do this show every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're absolutely loving it. Still a lot of cricket, even though the summer cricket in Australia is done. We've got Sri Lanka, got the women's Ashes and things like that, which is awesome. So get right around the show. Make sure you subscribe. We're going to go to our next goal of 4K on YouTube. Send in any questions or comments as we go through the best comments on every show. Thank you very much, as always, to Gerald behind the camera. Absolutely awesome that he's back and actually running the show, so that's very good. Thank you so much, Tom, for jumping on.
No worries.
Bloody awesome. Yeah.
And anytime, mate. More than happy to jump on.
Yeah, your knowledge was, that was unbelievable. I'm definitely getting rid of the other boys, I reckon. Again, thank you very much to everyone behind the scenes, and thanks to TABTouch. Got the touch? Download TABTouch today. That's another episode of Cricket Today done. We're out. What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.